And we are back. This is going to be a different video. I'm going to separate it from the series of the Let's Play. Um, I've just logged into the game today and been notified by an update. So, a few things I want to say about this, but I'm definitely going to start off with a massive positive. This is brilliant. This should be the standard. Look at this. When do you get this in a game? You just get bug fixes. You get minor bug fixes. That's all you get. You never get detailed patch notes like this. And if you do, you have to go looking for them. They're on some website or something that they want to draw you to so they get clicks on it and they can get ad revenue from it. Nope, this is just straight in game. You open the game and you are instantly told this is what's happened. So we fixed some crashes. Sadly, none of these were the crash that I experienced, although I'm pretty sure I experienced my crash because I'd left my PS5 on and with the game open and continued to play it. I really recommend that you don't do that. Um, you just um, you just sort of making it more likely that your game's going to crash. Um, and then we've got the bug fix, that massive bug fix with um, uh, the hero's gear, where it was your character was basically shafted. So that's brilliant. But this is the controversial side of the updates. So we'll start off with the not controversial easy modes or easy difficulty buff enhancements. I don't think anyone is complaining about this, and I don't think anybody should complain about this. If you swap the game to easy mode, the game should be easier. And um, when I look at the buffs that you get when you go to easy mode, it's something like you do 20% increased damage and you take 20% less damage, something like that. It might be more, it might be less. Um, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. That's a huge buff. But then obviously, if your issue is that you can't dodge or block most of the attacks from the bosses, that's not going to be enough. So swapping to easy mode, I don't think there's a problem with that, especially because when you swap to easy mode, you can't then swap back to normal mode. I do like that. I think that is a good thing in the game and the right way to do it, and it should set the standard for games going forward. So, absolute plus there. Now, boss monsters with lower difficulty in brackets nerf Viper phase 1 and 2 and Maluka. So I have at this point I in the let's play the time I'm recording this I have defeated Maluka. I defeated him before he was nerfed, and you'll see when you get to that video. um, First off, I really enjoyed that boss fight. I thought it was a really cool boss fight, and I also thought it was extremely fair, not unbalanced in any way at all. In fact, the only thing that I thought was potentially slightly overtuned was his grab attack. It was almost a one shot, um, and it was a one shot if you were inflicted by the debuff that he, no spoilers, the debuff that he gives you. Um, but when I think about it, I was running just the really low defense armor, so it probably wasn't a one shot, and it's a grab. The grabs, they're telegraphed. The game gives you a giant warning noise in your ears that a grab's coming. So I don't think that personally was a problem. So if I was going to tune something, I would slightly reduce the amount of damage that it did, but personally, I don't think I would actually make that change. So why is this controversial and why do I disagree with it? Well, I disagree with it firstly because of point number one, easy difficulty buff enhancements. If you are struggling with Viper, you are going to struggle for the entire game. Viper is not the hardest boss in the game. He is not. I think Viper is easier than. Uh, Let me think. So he's definitely harder than the Blade Phantom, and then the Blade Phantom redo that you fight. He is harder than the boss that you fight after him, because he has 2 phases, so he has more health. But then he is easier than the boss after that, and then he is no, he's harder. Yeah, so sorry, let me get this right. So he's harder than the first boss, which is the Blade Phantom. Then he is easier than the boss that's after him. Then he is harder than the boss that's after that, but that's because that boss is the easiest boss in the game so far. And then he is easier than the boss after that, and easier than the boss after that. So he is literally only harder than 2 bosses out of the 6 that I believe I've fought so far. Um, and one of those is the first boss in the game. I don't count Yatuga as the boss because that's before you get to choose your difficulty. So why is he getting nerfed? Some people are arguing that uh, he's the second boss in the game, or the third boss, depending on how you want to, if you count Yatuga as a boss. Um, so if he's too hard and people are stopping playing your game, the developers don't want that. The developers want you to play the game. So it's fine that he's being nerfed. This is what I was discussing, I guess, quite a few episodes ago, where the game is hard. It's supposed to be hard. Everyone who's going to buy this game knows that it's going to be hard, and you can play the demo, and then you find out that the demo is hard. So I don't agree with that line of thinking, and you can just put it on easy mode. Like easy mode is that's what it's there for, and they have tuned easy mode now so that you are stronger. And if you are playing this game to run up to a boss and start pressing buttons, you should fail. You should fail. And if you then get upset that you can't run up to a boss, press buttons, and the boss dies, you were the problem, not the game. You came into the game with the wrong expectations. You should know that it's a Souls game and you can't play a Souls game that way. And you are being, in my opinion, disingenuous, um, because you're refusing to learn the game mechanics. Parrying has never been this easy in a Souls game. This is by far the easiest parry system, and I've played basically every relevant Souls game that exists. You try parrying in Elden Ring, that shit takes hours to learn. This, you literally just press L1. The moment that you're about to get hit, and it's so forgiving. You have such a massive window to parry something, and the reward, the payoff, is huge, huge parry window. And then if you do want the Elden Ring, Bloodborne style-esque parry, you have got that, and that parry is incredible. It's so powerful. That parry is massively more powerful, and the payoff is it's harder to land. So you're refusing to learn and embrace those mechanics when the barrier to entry to those mechanics has never been easier. The 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 thing that this game teaches you is you basically have unlimited stamina on the defensive. It's when you then try and use that in the offensive is when you have to respect the stamina system. And that's why I didn't have a problem with Viper, because the game tells you about parrying within the first, what, 5-10 minutes of the game, and you should try it. And you should try it and learn it, because if one of the first things that the game tells you how to do is to parry, you should learn how to parry. That's like saying the game tells you to walk with a left analog stick, and then you trying to press up on the D-pad to walk. It's the same. It's the same principle. Obviously, parrying is more difficult than holding the left analog stick up, but it's the same principle. Um, so that's why it's a problem. And it what that does is it sets you up to fail. If your boss, for example, Viper, if your boss is um, so so easy to kill. I don't know how easy he is. Obviously, I've not fought him. I've literally just booted the game up. But if your boss is now easy to kill, you're the gonna get yeah. You're then going to get to the next boss, and he is going to smash your shit in. And then it's the same problem then, because if you manage to cheese your way past Viper by pressing buttons and over leveling, you're then going to get to the next boss and realize, oh, I cannot press buttons and over level to get this to kill this guy, and he's going to smash your shit in, and you're going to quit the game. And it's the same problem. It continues and it continues, and I just think listening to the community is a double-edged sword, because the majority of players were not complaining about the difficulty of Viper. The majority of players were not logging into Reddit, were not signing into Discord, were not posting on social media that Viper was too difficult. The majority of players were playing the game quietly in their own little bubble, in their own little world. It was the vocal minority that was speaking out about how difficult the boss was. And because there were no voices, or the voices who were speaking against those voices were quieter or less passionate or less critical, they weren't listened to, and the voices that were listened to don't necessarily reflect the community as a whole. So it is, and then if they hadn't listened to the player base, well, then the developers are bad and they're just the same as every other developer and they're not interested in the community. Blah 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 blah. So it's a very difficult situation, but it's just a plea really to just be mindful. Think about why you are dying to the boss, and I am telling you, unless you are impaired, you have a disability, you have um, reduced motor function, or you have some other form of impairment that makes playing this game more difficult than otherwise it otherwise would be, the issue is you. And I'm not saying get good. I'm not saying that because I've been playing video games for 27 years that my opinion is more valid than yours. What I'm saying is listen to the game. Ex, it tells you how to defeat the boss. This the way that this is to me, to give you an idea of what my perspective is when you're sat watching a film with your friend and your friend is asking you every 5 minutes, oh, why did he say that? Oh, what's he doing? Oh, what's she doing there? Wait, who's she again? What's that? They're not, they're watching the film, but they're not taking the film in. And it's the same with the game. You are playing the game, you are going through the motions, you are pressing the buttons, but you are not engaging with the game in the way that the game demands you to, and you should know that because you're playing a Souls-like. Um, so yeah, that's what I think about the negative side of this, um, and I am going to address the buffs now. Um, I believe I have, at the point of filming this video, killed the boss of Scoffer Cave and the Line on Mine. Um, if the Scoffer Cave is the one that I'm thinking of, that definitely needed a buff. That was by far that was easier than the Blade Phantom. It was a very easy boss. It just died. It just died. I only didn't kill it, in the first couple of attempts because I wasn't taking my own advice. I wasn't engaging with the game, um, and that fight also is designed to unsettle you. It's designed to put you off, and once you get over that, the boss is just a cakewalk. Um, and then I can't remember the boss of Line and Mine, but and then obviously the other bosses on there, um, I can't comment on. Um, Buffs are good. Um, I think that the fact that they've not put the names of the bosses is good, and this is what I was saying about the vocal minority. They haven't named the bosses which they have buffed, The boss of Scoffer Cave is not a story spoiler. I'm still not going to say it, but it's not a story spoiler. That boss has absolutely no significance in the story whatsoever. They didn't name it, but they did name the bosses that they nerfed. And I think that is very telling that the angry people who went to post online are the ones that they are trying to appease. Um, but this here, where they buffed some bosses, um, this is a good sign for me. This is a good sign. And then finally, we've got some skill balance adjustments. So, Great Sword Brutal Attack skill deals increased damage to enemies. That's good. It's I especially noticed this when I was fighting Malika. It just it was doing like 4,000 damage, and I was able to hit the boss for more than 4,000 damage with some of my other abilities. So I'm glad that they've buffed that, even if it's only a slight tune-up. And then obviously I don't play the spear, so I have no idea what spear Phantom Heatwave skill. However, it seems like it was overpowered, and they have nerfed it slightly. That's the impression I'm getting of Spear. People seem to think it's overpowered. I haven't played it, so I don't know. But yeah. And then the other issue is a PC issue, which I don't play on PC. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this. This will be a standalone video, and it will be titled as such, so you won't get confused, and you won't just all of a sudden, why is this guy staring at a black screen with some writing on it? It will be separated from the Let's Play. Um, so yeah, thanks for watching. Put your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I am uh, I love a discussion. As you can tell from the way that I'm talking about the game, I'm very passionate about this game, but also games in general. And I love the discussion. And as I've said in previous videos, the advantage of being a channel where I get 1 or 2 views if I'm lucky is that I will respond to your comment, and I will give you a proper response as well, because I'm not responding to like hundreds of people at once. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Put your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next video, where we will be resuming our Let's Play. Bye bye now.